Hey Munchkins, I promised you guys Jen and the Beanstalk Part 2, so here it is. After much tossing and turning and anticipation that night, at last Jen dropped off to sleep. When Jen woke up the next morning, she noticed her room looked strange. The sun was shining into part of it like it normally did, and all the rest was quite dark and shady. So Jen jumped out of bed to see what's going on. The beans she had planted yesterday had sprung up into a big beanstalk, went up and up and up and up until it broke through her roof and up into the sky. The top of it was hidden by clouds. Jen decided she might as well climb it because she had never seen what clouds were like up close before. Using the leaves and twisty vines like the rungs of a ladder, Jen climbed and climbed until at last she reached the clouds. And when she got there, she found a road winding its way through the clouds to a tall castle off in the distance. Jen ran up the road toward the castle, and just as she reached it, the door swung open to reveal a huge lady giant. As soon as Jen saw her, she wanted to run away, but the giant caught her and scooped her up and took her into the castle. "Don't be in such a hurry. I'm sure a nice little lady like you would like a nice big breakfast," said the great big tall woman. "It's been so long since I got to make breakfast for guests." Well, maybe the lady giant wasn't such a bad sort after all. She took Jen into the kitchen and gave her a chunk of cheese and a glass of milk. But Jen had only taken a few bites when thump, 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 the whole house began to tremble with the noise of someone coming. "Goodness gracious me, it's my husband," said the giant woman, wringing her hands. "What on earth shall I do? There's nothing he likes better than little humans broiled on toast, and I don't have any bread left. Oh dear, I should never have let you stay for breakfast. Here, come quick and jump in here." And she hurried Jen into a large copper pot sitting beside the stove just as her husband, the giant, came in. He came to the kitchen and said, "I'm ready for my breakfast. I'm so hungry I could eat 3 cows. Ah, what is this I smell? Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread." "Nonsense, dear," said his wife. "We haven't had anybody over for breakfast in years. Now you go and wash up, and by the time you come back, your breakfast will be ready for you." So the giant went off to tidy up. Jen was about to make a run for it when the woman stopped her. "Wait until he's asleep," she said. "He always has a little snooze after breakfast." Jen peeked out of the copper pot just as the giant returned to the kitchen, carrying a basket filled with golden eggs and a sad-looking white hen. The giant poked the hen and he growled, "Lay!" and the hen laid an egg made of gold, which the giant added to the basket. After his breakfast, the giant went to the living room and fell asleep in his big lazy-boy chair while the hockey game played on the TV. Then the giant began to nod his head and snored until the whole house shook. When she was quite sure the giant was asleep, Jen crept out of the copper pot and began to tiptoe out of the kitchen. Just as she was about to leave, she heard the scuffling of the hen as she tried to get out of her cage. Jen thought for a second and ran back to the kitchen. She grabbed the sad-looking hen in the tiny cage and began to tiptoe back out. But the hen clucked her thanks to Jen, which woke the giant, and just as Jen got out of the house, she heard him calling, "Wife! Wife! What have you done with my hen?" Jen ran as fast as she could, and the giant, realizing he'd been tricked, came rushing after her down the road towards the beanstalk. By the time Jen got to the beanstalk, the giant wasn't far behind her. The giant stomped his foot and roared angrily, "Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread." The giant went to swing himself down onto the beanstalk, but stubbed his toe on a rock instead, so he started jumping up and down on one foot while clutching the other and crying. Jen took the opportunity to slide down the beanstalk like a fireman's pole with the chicken in her backpack. The tears from the giant helped her slide down even faster. By the time she got to the bottom, the giant was just getting his bearings and about to come down after her. "You can run and you can slide," he roared, "but I bet you can't hide." He was about to start to climb down when Jen reached over to grab the chainsaw lying in the yard from cutting down a tree yesterday. She started it up, and the motor roared to life right away. She quickly cut down that beanstalk before the giant had the chance to start climbing down. The beanstalk teetered over the crash, and all that could be heard was thunder from the giant as he stomped his feet in a tantrum because his golden egg-laying hen was gone, and his tears rained down upon the land like a rain shower. The chicken was safe at last. Jen added the chicken to her new chicken coop, and the hen lived happily ever after, laying her golden eggs, which she was able to sit on until they hatched into beautiful golden chicks. The hen, her chicks, and Jen lived happily ever after on Jen's little farm, and Jen quietly promised herself to never ask her father for seeds again. The end.